Hi everyone, welcome to today's Icehouse podcast. My name is Bryar Stewart and I'm the community manager at the Icehouse. And today I have the pleasure of chatting with Mike Williams, who is the founder and director of MWDesign, a product design agency specializing in industrial design or product design for manufacture. Really looking forward to having a chat with Mike this morning. He has been on our owner manager program 49, and I'm looking forward to hearing about the journey. So thanks, Mike. Appreciate your time.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks for having us.
Awesome. Let's do it, eh? So first question is just tell the listeners a bit about yourself. Who is Mike Williams?
Okay. Well, I suppose supposed to look at me, most people see a fairly thick-set, bald dude shaped kind of like a fridge, but at the wrong end of 40. But I suppose on the inside, I'm a fiercely proud father of two grown men. A bit of a lefty, bit of a pacifist kind of guy, but also a second-degree black belt and a lover of combat sports, which is a bit weird, but whatever. I'm a motorbike enthusiast. I've got 9 in the garage and 1 in the house. But I'm also an honorary lecturer at Waikato University, and I sit on the advisory board of both design and engineering there. So yeah, I mean, and design for me has just been my Southern Cross. It's I'm not interested in just styling for next season, release, but more problem solving and making a difference in people's lives, and that's what gets me going.
That is so cool. Really great intro, Mike. Feel like I know you better already. I'd love to hear the career journey, what your career journey's looked like, and tell us a little bit about your business, MWDesign.
Yeah, sure. Well, it's pretty long, so I'll give you the Reader's Digest version. So I graduated at Wellington Design School. I think my class was the last before it turned into a degree program. Worked a few places around New Zealand. A brief internship at Formway Furniture in Wellington. Disability Resource Centre at Palmerston North, designing bespoke wheelchairs and things like that. And then up to Mali in Auckland and a few local design consultancies around there. Then in 1997, 98, headed off on the old OE like you do. And I mean, he talked about personal growth. It was like drinking from a fire hose for 3 years. It was amazing. I loved it. I actually remember I had to go and sit down on a bit of a grassy embankment thing by the River Avon in Bath, and because my brain just hurt, from all of the stuff that was going on. And it was right then that my partner said, "Oh, guess what? We're pregnant. We're having our first kid."
Wow.
And so, so we had Oliver over in the UK, and that was pretty cool. Headed back to New Zealand, and kind of just imported the whole sort of what we were doing over there to here, the sort of UK design consultancy model, and it worked pretty well for a while. And then one day in, it was about 2005, I was heading home from Fisher and Paykel, heading back to West Harbour, and stuck in traffic on the motorway again, and I had a bit of an epiphany. I thought, half my clients come from the Waikato, and if I tell everybody that I've just moved to rural Auckland, I can, sneak over the Bombay Hills. International customers don't care. So, so we did that, and we never looked back,
Wow.
Kids went to a country school. The bus literally stopped at the end of the driveway for them. It was really great.
Yeah,
and and so we just continued doing that sort of stuff. And at the time we were doing just the consultancy work, industrial design consultancy work, and it required so much client education. They had no idea that industrial design could lead a business. Your design could lead a business or have a positive influence on their bottom line. So it was pretty hard work. I had a count up the other day, and over the last 22 years, we've designed more than 1,000 products, which is a fair chunk, and it's from medical devices to playgrounds, firearms, work boots, a bit of aerospace, some heavy machinery, aquaculture, viticulture, and of course our beloved agritech, which is kind of why we moved down to the Waikato. But I mean, primarily MWDesign is a consultancy focused on R&D and product development, and we love our regional customers. There's so much going on in our backyard, like we talked about earlier,
Yeah.
And so we've got a few things going on with the business, as well as the design consultancy. We design and manufacture carry dieback cleaning stations for dock. If you've been for a walk in the Waitakeries or been up to see Tāne Mahuta, that's our stuff up there. And we're selling those internationally now too, because the pathogen is a global pest. We're selling it into Tasmania and Hawaii and California. Wow. And it actually stops seeds from traveling as well, and other fungi. So there's less gorse being transferred around Northland now because of the cleaning stations.
Wow.
So that's pretty cool.
It is cool.
We design a neonatal product to stop skin injury and infections in premature babies. We've got animal mannequins for vet training, and that all started with a product we did with LIC, livestock improvement, to practice inseminating cows, because it was a very dry season. Farmers all sent all their stock away. They couldn't get access to animals. How do you train people without animals? And so, it had to feel right, it had the right temperature, and we even developed our own simulator poo, so it felt right,
Crazy.
And so then, and now they're sold through Minitube in Germany. They're sold all over the world, helping farmers do their thing. And then it's developed from there. We do a whole bunch of clinical skills. If you want to learn to take blood or inseminate a pig or birth a cow or catheterize a cat or bandage a scarlet macaw, we've got those clinical skills. And again, we've partnered with a company in Poland, and they are a distributor for the global distributor. So that's pretty cool.
Wow, that is a diverse range of products, and
it is, it really is. And like, people often say, like, how on earth do you do that? And it's like, well, you follow the principles of design, and the pro tip is you want to befriend the person who's got the biggest brain, and the person who's been doing it since Adam wore short pants, and then just ask a lot of endearingly simple questions and gain insights, and kick on from there, really. Brilliant.
That's such good advice, man. That is crazy. Just what you're part of. And I think a misconception of design is that it's the lipstick at the end of of a product.
Roll it in glitter.
Roll it in glitter. And it's so not that. Like, proper design should be part of the process from the start, and really it's just problem solving, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Honestly, really cool, and just so evident that that's exactly what you guys do, part of your business. So that's really cool to hear. What is one thing that you wish you knew at the start of your business journey?
That karate is awesome, and after a hard day, there's nothing like sparring and respectfully punching someone in the face. Or being punched in the face, works both ways. It's quite good. But
I've heard that answer before.
Well, it's a bit of a flippant answer, but I guess what I kind of mean is that you need to have. I wish I got a handle on my work-life balance earlier in my career. Whether it's hanging out with mates or whatever. But I mean, for me, combat sports is about keeping physically fit and also mentally fit under pressure. In design, it's in its best form is loving and vulnerable and delicate, particularly during ideation phases and those early stages. And being emotionally strong, it just keeps you ready for those bastards that are out there. And boy, are they out there! So,
it's great advice. It's really good advice. I think too many business owners unfortunately do say that, you know, they worked out the balance piece or the lifestyle piece later, and I think the more that can learn to how to implement it earlier on is a real win for business, yes, but also just for, you know, families and people's personal worlds. So important. Great point, Mike.
100%.
Great. Sort of on the same vein, advice for budding business owners, whether they're deciding to start a business or maybe in the early stages of their business.
Yeah. But again, I think it's a similar answer for me too. Is that, you know, learn to surf the wave of business. I mean, when it's 6 foot and glassy, go hard. Just, you know, make hay while the sun shines. You know, but when it's flat, when there's nothing going on, you know, take time out, go and kiss your partner and play with the kids or play with the dog or whatever, you know. But you got to trust that your business is strong enough and resilient enough that it's not going to collapse if you take half a day off.
So true.
and it's I just can't emphasize that enough, really.
Yeah, no, great advice. It's awesome, mate. Cool. I'd love to hear a highlight and a challenge of the journey. I know there've been many in both camps, but maybe one comes to mind for each.
Yeah. Well, a definite highlight for us is opening our second design studio at the Mount. And that was during COVID, and it initially started out as a way of supporting Georgia, she's a fantastic and very talented designer from our Hamilton team. So she moved over there, and you know, and like I said, you know, we're all about designing local, and there's just so much innovation and pockets of awesomeness around the regions that it never ceases to amaze me. And so we quickly realised that we're kind of onto something with that, and that so we wanted to support her more, and so she's really taken up the challenge, and the studio's gone from strength to strength, and I'm pretty proud, actually. I'm pretty proud of that. So, it makes me feel good, you know.
Yeah, that's also that, like, just touching on that, just a real empowering of your team as well, you know, to be able to pursue what they're passionate about and give something new a go, and trusting, massive trust from you and the leadership team on that. So cool highlight, really, really cool to hear.
Yeah, thanks. I guess if on the dark side of that, I mean, the ongoing challenge for us, or I think for everybody, is funding projects. You know, whether it's funding our personal projects or our customers' stuff, and it's like from way back when too. You know, like there's been lots of attempts at doing this and solving the problem, but I just think it's the biggest choke point in New Zealand's R&D. You know, and lots of people have tried it, but oh my gosh, I mean, don't get me started. It's just I despair at times. Yeah,
totally. Yeah, a lot of hard times are, you know, for different people, but funding is always a key part of that. That's for sure. Would love to hear, because you were in our owner manager program 49, would love to hear, how did you hear about the Icehouse, and how did that first step look? Because I think sometimes it can be a real quick decision from a business owner where they're like, I'm all in, it's happening. And then other times it can be, you know, a couple of years before they make the decision to go on the owner manager program. I'd love to hear that journey, what it looked like for you.
Yeah. It's a bit of a funny story. So I've taken on a new business partner. I was midway through a divorce, where we're midway through one of the biggest carried over contracts we'd ever done, when said business partner just decided he was out, but he'd already signed up for the OMP program.
Oh wow!
And I had no idea what I was walking into. I had I actually had his name tag when I first started up. That's how quick it happened, right?
Oh, that's crazy.
So I was introduced as him on my first day. But I really wasn't ready for it. I hadn't, you know, I sat there for the first 3 sessions just confronted and bombarded by and being questioned about my beautiful little design company that I'd so carefully crafted over 20 years, and paid for holidays and bringing up my kids and building a house and holidays, but it also cost me my marriage and my home and the like.
Wow.
So I actually, if I'm honest, I actually hated it.
Wow.
I did not enjoy it at all. But you know what? I kept on going back because it was the truth, and sometimes the truth hurts, but it was the truth after all. So that's how I came to the OMP program.
Wow, thank you so much for your honesty there. That's not easy to share, but I'm sure has resonated with some of our listeners and business owners around how the truth, can sometimes be a little bit hurtful. And I've heard from many business owners that sit in sessions and just have that feeling and know that they need to listen, but it's hard to listen and hard to take it in sometimes, that's for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Appreciate that. Would love to hear what were the changes then, or some key changes that you implemented into your business, but also into your lifestyle since the program.
Yeah, well, I actually a lot of the people in the program were having their aha moment throughout the whole thing, and I really didn't. I didn't have my moment of clarity until I think it was after lunch on the last day of the last session there, and it was, and the other guys in the group were pressing me, and Deb was being brutal, she tends to be, but in a nice way.
Yeah, in a nice way, yeah.
Yeah, and the realization was this, is that I'm actually shit at commercialization, and I have no interest in it, and I just couldn't give a rat's about it. But as it turns out, what we are good at is that we are gods when it comes to R&D, and that problem solving was just that's our secret sauce.
Yeah.
And so what we needed to do was we needed to partner with people who could help us, and partner with and finding somebody who could do that. All that's in everything else that's not R&D, but critically they had to hold the same values as us and behave ethically and with honour. And FYI, we're still looking for some people for some special projects, so awesome. Give me a call.
Listeners, you heard it here first.
Yeah, and so this whole realization, it just changed the whole ethos of our company, and literally company wide. Everything came into focus from environmental responsible design to financial design and the type of client that we wanted to work with, and it drove an entire rebrand and reshape of our company. And like we're a design consultancy, and we want it at our core, and design is our weapon, and the consultancy keeps it just razor sharp, and so the whole company is now pointed in a new direction, and that's no small thing with a company of creative. It's like herding cats with fireworks. It's quite hard to do.
Yeah.
And so now we've got two beautiful balanced design companies. We've got MW Medical that does the Peppy Splint stuff, and we've got a partner helping us with that. We've got the Wholesome mannequins, and we've got our distributor over in Poland. We run a water jet cutting service. There's biosecurity products, the carry dieback stuff, and Lazy Like a Fox design store. So it's there's quite a few other things on the go, but it gave us order, it gave us focus, and it changed the way we behave. Basically, it changed everything.
Did you notice the team rally behind that as well when you not pitched, but you sort of highlighted what this new focus and direction was?
Yeah. Well, because like I said, I kind of sat there and I was wondering what on earth was going on, and having all these emotions and trying to reconcile the stuff that after each session with the Icehouse, and I come back to work, and people would just go, "What's up with Mike? Oh my God!" and they were saying, "Oh, you need to share this with your team," but I just wasn't ready.
Yeah.
Wasn't ready to do it, and the moment I understood where we were pointing and what we were doing, and had in my moment of clarity,
Yeah, your aha moment.
everything changed, and the team were they just love it. They fell in behind it, and and lead it in all new and amazing ways.
Yeah, that's so
really
cool.
great. People have stepped up like I would never have believed.
Yeah, so cool. They believe in the vision, the mission, and they're getting Yeah, so great to hear. And cool that you had your aha moment later in the piece, right? But you still had it, and
thankfully,
and in your timing could then go back to your team and highlight how you wanted to move forward on your business.
And I went back through all of the previous sessions, and was like, okay, now I'm going to do this, and now I'm going to do that, and
of course,
I had the tools there.
Yeah,
I just didn't know which direction to aim, really.
No, that's exciting. That's cool perspective on the program and your experience as well. Were there any other key takeaways that you took from the experience?
I guess getting into the habit of once a month taking some time out and questioning where you're going, and reaffirming and adjusting, and a bit of course correction along the way. It's the best 8 hours you spend on your business if you can do it, and keeping it up, doing that once a month. I sometimes do it with my senior design staff, and sometimes I'm just sort of here at home and running through stuff here.
What would you say to business owners that just say, I don't have time for that, I don't have time to step away from the business for even half a day?
Yeah, see, I used to be like that too. But separate, getting divorced and all of that, it's it's a pretty major thing too, right?
Yeah,
it's and quite life-changing, and it's it's half a day, man. It's it's like I say, go kiss your partner, go pat the dog, give your kids a hug, and you'll just be in such a better mental space. I mean, that could all take place in 5 minutes, right? And you're back in the game. But like, shit, how many times do you waste half a day at work just dithering and fretting and not doing nothing?
So true. And taking that half a day can actually add so much more productivity and efficiency on the other side of it, with a clearer head space and more balance.
That's right. And I guess whether you decide to go meditate, or you go and sort of sit in a quiet space and try and resolve a problem, or from however you choose to do it, you always come back in a better space. In a better headspace.
100%. Yeah, no, it's good. It's really good. And I think a lot of business owners have toyed with this idea over the last couple of years with the pandemic, and what's important, and but also it's created really hard times for business owners where they've been working crazy hours to keep things afloat. And so it is a really important message, and that's why I'm touching on it in this moment, to focus on as a business owner that's had a business for 5 years, 2 years, 20 years. It's an important thing to keep aligning with and making sure we're doing. So thanks, Mike, for saying your perspective on that one too. It's awesome. I'd love to hear from you. Who's one person that's been really influential in your business journey?
Yeah, that's a tough one. There's been so many people along the way. I guess one that kind of springs to mind, and I think he's actually an Icehouse alumni from way back, is Garth Sutherland. I don't know if you know him. He's now at the Insides company.
Cool.
But I've known him from back in the day when he was Nexus 6 and designing the smart asthma inhalers and the like. And that guy's, he's been on a hell of a journey. But he's still making it happen. And I've got nothing but respect for Garth. He's from humble beginnings. He's grown that company and he's just unstoppable. He's
Awesome.
he's a bit of, it might make him blush, but I consider him a sort of one of my entrepreneurial heroes.
Cool. That's so cool. I love that. And it's cool having a network of people where we can bounce ideas off each other, but have people that we aspire to as well and really appreciate how they've done it. So a good example of that. Would love to hear from you, Mike. What excites you the most about the future of your business?
Yeah. Well, I mean, what I want to do is focus on R&D projects that make it through our selection process, and sort of, and knowing that there's a growing community of commercialization partners and stuff that are going to pick it up and run with it. What actually has started to build a bit of a fire under my butt is replicating this Mount Maunganui studio business around into some more regions, and perhaps internationally, just quietly.
So exciting. That's cool. That something that happened probably unexpected, wasn't part of the 5-year plan, potentially. Something that happened is been so successful that it's like, awesome, how can we actually replicate this and take it wider? That's exciting. That is really cool.
Yeah. And I mean, it's all about the people, right? You put the right people in the right place and give them, the goal setting that we talked about before, and our aha moment has just resonated with like everybody in the team. So it's it's our Southern Cross, it's our North Star.
Yeah, exciting days ahead for you guys and for the team. And thank you so much, Mike, for this conversation. It's been really eye-opening and really inspiring. And I hope that those listening have, drawn some gold from your experience and your business journey. So I appreciate your time today.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you.